My next goal in life is to literally make so much money until my job is costing me money. My focus for you is to understand you have everything you need to win. Here's what I love about knowing your price, knowing your worth, and knowing the money you want to make. Once it clicks and you have the audience and you're making the money, guess what? Drum roll. You don't get burned out. So that's pretty interesting for me because I'm at a crossroads with all of my business. Well, not all of my businesses, but in so many words, the most important thing on my mind right now is doing the things that move the needle versus doing the things that feel good. And so it's this reality that sometimes what feels good isn't productive. And then what is productive doesn't feel good. And I don't know why that's the case, but that seems to be how things play out. And so before I dig into it, I want to always ask you, has anything happened in the past 7 days that you were looking forward to? You said what now? Oh, you said you said you did some content last week? That's good. How have you been? Well, what's the update with your email list?
Starting sent out the newsletter this past week where it's just the tools, things that we can talk about, financial tips, as well as like a hill that stretch to do along with everything. And so that was the highest, I would say, marketing wise, that actually got higher expectations.
Well, that's good. I don't know if I told you last week, but I just started my email marketing sequence for my clothing brand, and I'll be doing one for my coaching probably is Wednesday, sometime this week, and we'll see what happens. But where I am with my business is October. Wow, as a matter of fact, it's gonna be November 1st tomorrow, which means that we only got 2 months left in the year, and I traveled every month this year. And I've been asking myself, was it worth it? And with me thinking about it, I do believe it was worth it. I do believe that me getting exposure and visibility, things that I felt I needed was, definitely something I should do as soon as possible. Now, I do have an event in December that I'm going to. It's something about, it's between Shans and Donnie. I believe it's called Your First Million Conference in December. And what is unique about it is I've been contemplating how I want to go about next year, especially because since 2022, I've been on this pilgrimage, if you will, of self-discovery. Prior to 2022, I wasn't really self-developing. I was kind of going with the flow. The most I had done up to that point was probably like, I don't know, investing in stocks and trying to do something with that. But now, side note, I don't know why I'm yawning. I got a bunch of rest yesterday, and I don't know why I'm yawning. It's the weirdest thing ever. Nonetheless, by me doing that, I have been becoming the person every month at each different event. So much so, I'm like, okay, cool. 2025, are we going to the same events that we went to last year? And if we are they serving us, or is it really something for you to do to not be in California? Like I was saying earlier, what feels good versus what is needed. And so I've been doing a deep dive on that. Haven't figured out the real logistics of it all, but so far, if I've dialed in on coaching women, then I kind of gotta reiterate my interviews. And so these next 7 days, the name of the game is what do I love doing that probably ain't bringing me no money? And then what have I been slacking on doing that really does move the needle? And then what I found to be effective is do what you don't want to do what you want to do. Do what you want to do, then do what you don't want to do. So there's this can I put it? There's this dance between tasks that keep you engaged without the anxiety of doing the thing that moves the needle. I don't know why as humans we put so much anxiety behind the things that have the biggest impact in our life. I guess because we're nervous. it could be either nervousness or doing it for the first time. But where I am now, I pretty much exhausted all of the busy work. So I'm left with the tangibles, and the things that I need to do to move the needle. So I want to express that to you, and I want to speak to anything that's been keeping you up at night, making it hard to sleep, any mental blocks, imposter syndrome, conversations that were difficult to have. Any of those things occurred in the last 7 days?
But it was also like I was able to bounce around it because I was around great people. And that's the thing there. I would say without my longest more content out there, I guess I underestimated. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess my long shot means stuff. And so I was excited like that. I just am like now maybe hit you a little bit more.
That's the number on your email list right now.
I want to say 87.
Okay, you have an open rate of 90, did you say? Is your yoga like a one-to-many or is it typically one-to-one?
One-to-one.
Okay, so that would make sense why it's important to know the young lady or the parent that has children. She said she would also want to do her lessons by herself as well. So both with children and both without the children. Do you believe that moms is your target audience?
I want to say yes, but honestly, probably not. I want to say like the rich auntie, swap uncle is probably my real audience.
Okay. What brings you to that conclusion?
Honestly, there's a story behind it with myself because those who do interact with the kids type of thing, the uncle, one aunt in first place.
Gotcha. So I bring that up because the thing I'm now looking at in my business is how do I surpass or match and improve what I've done this year? And it's funny because the one thing that I've done the most this year was do interviews and I guess level up how I present myself to people. So when it comes to doing these events again, like I know for Invest and Podcast Summit, and then I have an event in September, the Black Spot Expo. I want to have a staff and all these things. But outside of that, I'm looking into being more focused on the back end in terms of outreach and my leads. So the phrase I've been focusing on so far for the past couple of days is proposals and pitches. And so with it being the last 2 months of the year, first, want to do a temperature check. How comfortable are you sending out pitches and proposals to rich aunties and suave uncles?
Honestly, I am at the element of trying to get out of the scarcity of that because I want to get sponsors,
right,
and I know that requires me to get out of that bubble. So
out of the bubble of being reserved, or
being reserved and hoping that will come to me.
That's honest.
The reality of it. I guess more than anything, I gotta get out of my introverted bubble, more or less.
I had no idea you were an introvert.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's interesting too because not last, but one of the events I went to, Black Women Sell Live, with Ashley Kirkwood, they spoke on introverts and extroverts, and I think for me because I've kind of, always been out of my shell to a point, I didn't realize how being an introvert could affect how you interact with people. So I'm curious. I'm curious now. Would you say your message is for the rich aunties and suave uncles that are introverts, or is it for everybody?
Everybody.
Okay. Cool. Now, what is interesting to me is this perspective. Because you are an introvert, I'm curious to know what percentage of your audience is introverts, and then what percentage of your messaging and outreach communicates and relates to introverts. And I don't mean to go big on big, but if you can I guess uncover what part of your messaging caters to introverts, then it'd be just as easy to promote or do the opposite to reach the extroverts. And one of my superpowers that I look forward to exercising myself is speaking to the person that I am, but finding it in other people. So I guess in so many words, I'm trying to say is, I believe what'll help you as an introvert is if you can get used to do exercises, become more familiar with helping introverts. But when it comes to the extroverts, it's an easier skill set. That's just my thoughts on that. Yeah, I mean, because so for me, like, life is still going on. Everything younger than 35. Well, hell, even 35 have kind of fast, but I've learned the best I could do is what I know about or what I can relate to. Um, and what I feel in my spirit is there is a metric, a framework, a thought process. There are pain points that are specific to you as a person, where if you honed in on those things or just made content around it and communicated that, then you kind of see a different, I don't know, side of your audience. Because ultimately, here's the thing. Ultimately, I'm looking at it like this. We're down to Q4 of 2024. First month is already gone, November, December. October is already gone, excuse me. And then we have November and December. So, November, December. My outlook or my, how can I put it? What I would like for your business, Q1 2025, would be to have 17 signups for a beta test of your one-on-one yoga sessions, be virtual or in person, and you spend the next 2 months finding that audience. It's like if you walk into a room and it's 50 people and everyone's blindfolded. There's not nothing in the way. It's just blindfolded in the room. And everything is about conversation. The way in which you lead conversation, the way in which you respond in conversation would instantly be relatable to other introverts. And so if we can operate from an organic sense of human interaction, you're more than likely to meet more introverts than extroverts. So if that's the case, when you get hangups or hiccups about the content, or like, man, how do I make money off of this? The name of the game is we got to figure out who's interested and why they're interested, and then sign them up. That's it right there. The nitty gritty work that's so uncomfortable is being the introvert that has to organize meetups and virtual sessions with people on a random Monday or a bright and early Thursday. That's uncomfortable. Now, figuring out the content, recording the content, just you and the camera, that's easy. But me as a person, I had to get to a space where I've done all the content. I'm a little bothered by my performance as of late because I haven't gone live. But I've also pushed myself into a place where I have so much content, I need to make some money right now. And I don't remember if I told you about how successful my event was with WAP, but with WAP, if I had leads on call and a budget for a video team, video editor, excuse me, I'd be a happy camper right now. But I can admit that I'm now down to, in the last 2 months, pitches and proposals. I don't have any more busy work. And so there's no point in making you comfortable to go and do more busy work when it's crunch time. If I have one client that is about to go through, turn rate, if I don't have any clients, I'm not a coach. If a coach that has a football team, he's just an athletic dude that comes to practice every day. What that brings me to is, if you are the person that coaches one-on-one or does the coaching in the one-on-one space rather, then the nitty-gritty is to have people that you're doing yoga with. Now, I love the reality that it's not about the money, because money is always that thing that can be massaged, right? It can be worked out.
Yeah.
I've seen conversations with people that embark on collaborative opportunities, and their exact words is, let's just start. We have the momentum. Sounds like a good move. Let's just build, and then that's what it was. So last night, I'm a clothing designer, and I was listening about this guy, Joe Freshgoods. and he was speaking about his collaboration efforts with Chance the Rapper because they're both from Chicago. And he was saying, man, Chance came to my store, loved my merch. He said, hey, man, let me just model your stuff, and whatever happens, we'll figure the numbers out later. I was like, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think about my coaching arrangement with you, where first and foremost, I want to coach someone that's coachable,
Right.
willing to do the work. I lead with that. Now, with leading with that, when it comes to the heavy lifting, the things that move the needle in your business and your yoga practice, it's going to be about seats. It's going to be about impact. It's going to be about changing lives in such a way where you can deliver outcomes. They can experience transformation, and your business is making sense on both sides. And so, do you have any clients right now?
Yes.
How many?
2 clients. One is they're both nonprofits.
Let me rephrase. That's for your grants business?
Yeah, the grant side. Yeah, you're right. For yoga.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So yeah, my point exactly. If we're building out the yoga practice, then the most important thing is getting people to sign up and qualifying people to be, like I said, the beta group or the test group, where you can do your thing, and then now when I'm talking to you without hesitation, yeah, so you can start having people already locked in. Yeah, and it goes without saying, whatever that phrase means. I feel like for 2025, there's a different sensitivity when you can be like, okay, yeah, I have either 17 people in one group for one to many, or I have 17 signups for one-on-ones when it comes to yoga. And you can start the year with some substance.
Yeah.
Like for right now, I'm happy because, I was going over in my head to do the event in December. They're going to ask me, how's your coaching business, what's going on? And I'm be like, I got one client. It was a 6-month situation. During my mastermind, we had a barter agreement. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you know what? I spent so much time trying to perfect the month to month without realizing the value of the transformation. Now, the point I'm getting at is when it comes to the cost of the mastermind, I'm overjoyed because it's one thing to pay $40,000 cash. It's another thing to flood me with grant opportunities that may actually be more than 40,000. And so my point is, at worst, based on where I am in my business, if I have one other person join my mastermind, right, I'll be set to bring in 80,000 figuratively. Now, I say that because that has me excited for the new year, because after doing the interviews and all that kind of stuff, by getting clear with who I want to target, I don't believe what I was doing this year will be the same thing I do next year.
Right.
Oops. But it took me making sure making sure I knew how I wanted to bring in the new year, so that when I figure things out or make that shift, I have the confidence. And so my suggestion to you is, if you already locked in on doing a group thing, then that's just what it is. And then I would say, okay, push to have 17 signups by January 1 for the group setting situation, if that's your choice. If you want to do one-on-ones, then outline that.
I think that's definitely something that I was working on before, is the client journey.
Okay.
And I felt like it was more work in a sense for the one-on-one. Only because of the follow-up. I feel like I can do an easier follow-up in like a Zoom, and we just kind of tag team the group situation. I can do a quick run over like 30 minutes while we're doing like our debrief of after doing yoga. Let me know how I can help you, what areas I can add value to you, and then I can also create content for the mass, not just for a one.
I'm so happy for you, and I'm proud that you had the revelation, because I would not want you to be booked with 17 people, and then you telling me 17 different people, 17 different personalities,
Right.
17 different rescheduled dates, 17 attitudes, 17 families, 17
Right. And then that
birthdays.
was also the thing, like when if you have to reschedule, I have less time to reschedule versus a group. I can record and just you get the recording.
Right.
Days later.
So I'm hoping that you have messaging that communicates that because
That's exactly what I need. I'm glad you said that.
yeah, me too.
I was like, that's exactly what I need to do because I wasn't really sure what I need to do to follow up from that point. But yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, here's the thing. I'm so excited. Wow, I always love how I get a little nervous. I have my little nail biter moment. I'm like, man, okay, what's the hidden gems in today's conversation? And so far, what I'm finding is after today's convo, you'll be able to itemize specifically, line for line, what that messaging is. And it's exciting to know that 2 months from now, you'll be doing your group yoga sessions, whether that's once a week, twice a month, whatever your frequency is.
Yeah.
And you already have your 17 people.
Yeah, I literally have 7 now who are ready. And they under virtual situation, so I've already worked out what time frame it would work to.
Are you actively coaching them right now?
No, but I am actively. That's where I got like more feedback from my last email blast because I asked them what are their challenges right now.
Okay.
And I got more, of course, just communication and engagement from that. And so that allowed me to realize, like, oh, what direction I can go with, like, how I can even record it. And then how, like, the rest area can be like, all right, everybody said they had issues with the lower back. Let's focus on that as we just kind of wind down. And that's where I feel like it could help that mass element more.
Yeah, I this because what's so powerful, what's so powerful is we already discussed some of the larger movements that you are preparing yourself for, whether that be the retreat and other things. I just want you to, like I said, I guess the hack is the millionaire, before the money is made, you have an epiphany, right? And that epiphany is if I do all the stuff that I need to do that makes me totally uncomfortable, I can actually enjoy the things that I love to do and I ain't got to worry about making no money because I've done the uncomfortable things first and I can pretty much walk downhill versus trying to run uphill. And I'm speaking that way because, again, between now and January, number one focus is let's get 10 more people on board and then let's let Q1 be the beta test of your group sessions and all of the things. And you may not charge them for this experiment.
Yeah, I already told them. I see feedback and testimonials was my already agreement with the 7.
Okay, cool, awesome. Now, with that being understood, what's equally dope is you can now reference their experience. Not reference, excuse me. You can actually create more dialogue when they say, okay, well, how much you charge for this much and that much. Now, my question now is this: are you looking to charge per month or per quarter? Why per month and not per quarter?
I guess for I don't know. My thought process was like quarterly, it could be something that could be forgotten in subscription type of thing. And I want them to be more present.
The people. Okay, cool. As long as you have a reason to rhyme, I ain't got nothing to say.
But quarterly, I could see those who are like truly are like my friend who already has a yoga background. That I could see her doing a quarterly without no hesitation.
So I would say the quarterly situation versus monthly would give you give your audience some options. But what you could do is make it cheaper quarterly and make it more expensive on the month side. And that's just to hedge what matters in any business, which is cash flow. I can cater to you per month. I'm still the same person, but you know, my hesitation is gonna always be, is it profitable? And so I'm kind of bringing it up to you just to have inner dialogue with yourself between now and January.
Yeah.
To include it as an option. It ain't gotta be this or that. It can be an option. Now, we got all that out the way. It's exciting to think about you doing things and operating at full capacity and having 17 people. Now, the next question is, are you comfortable? Do you have a limit for your group coaching? Or do you want it to be an uncapped experience, or are you looking to only allow X amount of people in per session?
For beta purposes, I want to, but reality of it is I can also easily create, like, within my community space,
A virtual space?
like to have one monthly, we all go online and all just dress together type of thing.
But I can make it.
Or I can do like a YouTube live with a code or something like that.
Cool. But what I'm finding is, if we have answers for questions that haven't been asked yet, it's a breath of fresh air. So, you know, before we hop off the call, I need you to have ammunition for your for the next 6 days of self-talk. So you good to go.
Billionaires is literally the next day I found out the Bali trip is literally that is how I can get in front of them. So it's definitely, I'm ready to take the action, because every time I feel like we speak it and it happens.
Yeah. And I'll even let you in on a secret. You know, I tell my people this all the time. It's so important to play all out because you just don't know. We think that, well, I thought that it took time for things. And then just yesterday, I tell myself, you know what, bro? Every opportunity that you wanted, when you got it, you was not ready. But you said you wanted it. And then when I get it based on where I am in life, I have to understand that if I'm going to ask for something, it needs to be something that I can actually not necessarily handle, something that adds value to my plate. Now, what's tricky is something that we want don't add value to our plate overall. Something that we want is just something that we want. Cool, that's out the way. Now, when it comes to your beta testing, have you already itemized your I guess coaching style or exercises or what have you, in terms of, is it gonna be week to week or once a month?
That is what I'm trying to figure out right now, what my capacity is. But right now I'm thinking weekly or bi-weekly. But yes, it is focused on pretty much chakras. So we'll just work from the top all the way down. And then so the stretches I have are for the assistance of those general areas.
Cool. Now what's fun is, hey bro, jeez. What's fun is, before I say this, you going live on Instagram? Okay, cool. So I heard something. Let's see if I can remember this correctly. All right. What they were saying was, and learned this from Black Women Sell Live, Ashley Kirkwood event. I believe what she was communicating was, we're so accustomed to having or getting a new lead and then giving them a freebie that's always some, not crap, but something we don't care about. You know what I'm saying? And what she said was, flip it, and now when someone takes interest, they get like an invite to a private launch. Now, what this launch may be literally is just a pre-recorded video. Probably play it back inside of Webinar Jam. Webinar Jam does a really good job of presenting pre-recorded content like it's live.
You said Webinar Jam?
Yeah. There is other software, but I know that one the best because, I mean, I signed up for Zooms that I thought was live and it wasn't. It was pre-recorded. It just looked very well. The point I'm emphasizing is, we now want to test the test. So if you already know what you plan on teaching or implementing inside of your yoga sessions, now is a cool way to pre-expose your audience by allowing the newer leads to get an invite to this private launch. And all the private launch is just a Zoom link. It's a link to your webinar jam, and they're able to follow along with this pre-recording before the class actually starts. So let's say, because I interviewed a young lady from Black Women Sell Live, and she was telling me that she does her thing regularly, but her enrollment is closed at the moment. Bruh, jeez. The funnier part about it is I've already lived a life where I wanted to not work, so that now that I've lived that life, my next goal in life is to literally make so much money until my job is costing me money. So until then, I'm in love with these beeps and dings and whatever the hell kind of noise this car makes. But the point I'm making is, what I learned was I would sign up for Zoom calls or Zoom meets or whatever the case is, and the event would be a week away, right? Or a month away. And said person would keep me entertained or keep me engaged with either some kind of workbook, free content, or a separate Zoom for all of us that are registered early. And so you already have, or you're already currently working on your customer journey. Awesome. What I want to challenge you to is a warm-up, or like I said, an event before the event. Meaning, if I was to get on my phone right now after talking to you, and it's like, hey, I'm curious, I'm a suave uncle. Like that, I sign up. Boom. When I sign up, I'm excited because instead of me getting like a little freebie, you're invited to our next launch. Our next launch happens to be in, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, tomorrow, or 3 hours. The time limit, it could be 17 minutes. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, bet. And so now I'm used to like the old Ricky Dink freebie, or I'm saying the 20-year-old ebook, somebody done yoga for beginners, and it got like 5 of the basic stretches that don't help nobody. Instead of getting that, it's a whole real deal 17-minute launch. Hey, listen, you signed up. You thought you were getting an ebook that nobody wanted. Well, surprise, we got a whole new private launch. Want to give you a welcome training so you can know what to expect when we kick off in January. I'm releasing an intro training, I don't know, twice a month to prepare everyone for our kickoff, whatever, in January. And then if you want more value outside of these private trainings, feel free to go ahead and sign up before January. And I have a separate group of y'all that want to get started today or this month. And then those that hear it, even though they're signed up for the free beta test, they can't believe it because it's like, wait a minute. She just told me this is for the free stuff in January, but based on what she's saying, she got other like exclusive stuff. And then she's like, okay, well, you're going to sign up for stuff that's this month, November, or you're going to get it a month early. For the first 2 months, it's just $17 a month. After that, it goes to my original price of, I don't know, $170 for the month or whatever price she put it at. And then now, like, man, look, I got $17 for a little exclusive training 2 months ahead. And so you build this momentum that's so organic, that's so authentic. In so many words, I need you to take action, plan things out, develop the customer journey, because based on this new gem, you can literally extract extra cash while leading with value. Like in a perfect world, I would have loved for other clients to be as aggressive and intentional as you are, because that would mean that I, as well, would have this whole wave of $17 signups. You know what I'm saying? But never mind that. My focus for you is to understand you have everything you need to win. And it's all about positioning. I have spent time out of my life thinking to myself, these people is not fly as me. They're not as handsome as me. They for sure is not as smooth as me. But they're making all this money being bland. What is the difference? And the difference is positioning. And because they're not born flyers, they don't have the checklist that I have to allow myself to go and do a thing. So when we hear people or we experience people that take 25% of our campaign and then go and make 25 grand every month, it's like, geez, how? But it's because they know what they're looking for. They know what they're missing. And when they find the missing piece, when they figure out their void, it's a night and day reaction. It's not, oh, I got this, let me go and get this too, and then I'll be unstoppable. No, I've done everything but find the missing piece. And so provided that to me, and now I'm unstoppable since finding that out. And so I want today to be that experience for you. Was like, listen, January 1 is the official kickoff of, Rich Auntie Swap, RASU. Cool. So January 1, 2025 is the official kickoff for our RASU workout. And to prepare for it, we are inviting everyone to sign up. And whoever signs up gets access to a totally separate private launch where I'll be giving you live training twice a month. And then inside the training, you want to lead with, if y'all here, y'all doing good, y'all signed up, blop de blop de bloop. And then it's if you really want to get value out of the trainings before the first launch, I have a separate exclusive group of y'all that don't want to wait. And for y'all, I'm allowing y'all to sign up. If you want to start in December for just $17 a month before it goes to $170 a month, go ahead. If you want to sign up for November and December and just pay me $34, hey, go ahead. And then it goes to $340 for the month. I don't know your numbers exactly, but because you have a platform, like mine, like what WAP does, you can kind of put the numbers in, add your words, whoop-de-whoop, and then for those that may not join the $17, those that may not join the private launch, those that sign up for the official launch in January can be taunted with, can be teased with seeing on the sign-up form, I put this sneak peek class December just $17, right? Sneak peek class November, $17. 2-month countdown for private live trainings, $34 right now, as an upsell or downsell with them signing up for something free. Now, you lead with that. That is going to allow you to do all that talking that I just did in a much easier way, in a more seamless manner. That way, the more people you invite, when you do look at your numbers on the back end, you can start to itemize things outside of the imposter syndrome, outside of the anxiety, outside of the regular ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. Because that's what I'm about to do with my coaching, where, I want to lead with my master, how I do. I want to lead with, my master. I want to lead with my mastermind and then end on free books. That's not right. I want to lead with my 10K situation and then close out with my books and then upsell for the mastermind. That's what I want. That's how I want to do that. And if I'm doing that, then it's equally importante to challenge you to do the same. Because those that tap in for 6 months, the last stop on the customer journey is the mastermind. And for those that start with the book, I'll personally call them and offer them a free coaching call once a month at $650. So what's dope about what you're doing is you can pull all these metrics just by having your funnel pages or lead pages or whatever platform you use to pull that data. Because then you're ready to say, okay, 25% of everybody ignored this, 5% click this button, 50% sign up for the free, another 10% or whatever the percentage it is, XYZ. By doing that, that's going to give you the confidence to be more aggressive with email marketing. And for what it's worth, if you can look at being intentional, if you can assess the power of being intentional, you will be able to find more confidence in the competence of getting more leads, being more vocal, and that's what we want. That's what we want. Let's see. Anything else that I haven't talked about?
So I have another thought process.
Talk to me.
My other thought with everything going on, and building it out in a group setting, that I could also almost franchise this thought process in a sense.
What do you mean by that?
My other yogis who are also certified to run the case, that they take a blueprint of what I'm creating in a sense, and they would have to pay for the bulk. And so, like, if I create an ebook, they're also be selling the ebook. Like the possibility of it being sold not just on my channel in a sense, but other people can customize it for themselves.
Probably a white label kind of thing. Yoga in the box. Yeah. I love that.
And that's literally what I was thinking about, was because how I can really lean on sponsorships. I can also say this how I have paid.
Cool.
Yeah, because that's where I was trying to figure out how I can go about sponsorship without having the name behind it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can also hardcast it with people who already have a yoga space, who can then say like, oh, they're already testing that out as a beta as well, and kind of going with it from there.
That's definitely the Mizzou. And what's even more gangster is having that idea, but then knowing there's also an additional altar call. Was like, okay, boom. So on one side, there's people that want to be in the yoga class, and then another group of people that want to start their own yoga practice or do what you're doing. Now, people get upset when there's verbiage and marketing dollars behind someone helping others be instrumental, like them. But I love it because let's do this real quick. Let me go on my phone. Jeez, bro, I'm trying to tell you, man. Okay, go on my phone. We're gonna say, of the people that practice yoga, wow, OGA, how many, rough estimate would love to teach yoga? Estimated around 10 to 20% of people who practice yoga may be interested in becoming a certified yoga instructor. Awesome. Now, what that says is there's a market for it, and because there's 20% or 10% of those that are interested, when it's all said and done and you kick off things, you know that 10% of your budget should be allocated for running campaigns that's like, hey, love yoga, but don't make no money from it. I want to give you my yoga money machine blueprint for half the price of what it cost me. And it cost me 50 grand. I know, right? You don't want that. So for 25 grand is the value of my business, but you can get yoga in the box right now for $250 or $2,500. Visit yogainthebox.com. I'm already knowing 10% of y'all is gonna look into it, so I only have a certain amount of spots available to give y'all my yoga in the box blueprint, and then you go from there. And then you have on one end your one-to-many yoga group situation, but then the more video that you create, you add to this yoga in a box vault, which helps the price go up every quarter. But essentially, if you're in the presence of other yoga instructors, then quite naturally, 10% or 20% of your clients, they may not express it, but they would love to do what you're doing. I'm paying this chick some money, man. I could do this. I'm going to just pay up for 2 months, figure it out, and I'm going to do it. And then it's like, hey, y'all, y'all love what I'm doing, but, you know, if it's 20 of y'all, at least 4 or less would love to do what I'm doing. Now, you ain't got to say it, but if you are curious, just go to yogainthebox.com, and I got it for you at a good price. It cost me $25,000. It won't cost you that much, but that is the value. And if you are willing and serious and not curious, here's the link. And today's class is dismissed. And now, guess what? You can lead with that in a very subtle manner with no pressure, because you already know it's not for everybody, which is awesome. And I can now give a bunch of value and not be tied down to a month-to-month situation or a quarter by quarter or 6 month by 6 month scenario. I can literally talk to you the next 12 months and there's no anxiety because you only pay me once a month or once a year, excuse me. And that's so important because as you get more dialed into your business model, you too will get to a point where, you know what I'm saying, the money is good. And then you're like, you know what, this is cool. But month to month, quarter for quarter, what's that next level? And so I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you on whatever platform that you have to post up that end goal. Right now, I'm saying, I just figured this out. If you were to go on my phone, this is kind of weird. Go on my phone and we're going to go to wap.com/the success circle. We go on there. We're going to see the 90 minutes for $650, the 3 months, $6,500, or the 10,000 for 6 months. We're going to also see the mastermind for $43,200. But then check this out. I added this a couple days ago. I also have my executive confidence, where if a business makes $100,000 a month or more and don't want to play pity pat with the guessing game of coaching, man, just hire me full time for a year, pay me $100,000, or put me on a $2,500 a month retainer. Now, I wouldn't have came to that conclusion if I would have not led with masterminds in conversation with you. So I'm also challenging you, because we're at the extended session mark of today's conversation, where this is like a bonus. So, okay, newsflash. If you didn't know, person to person, to coach, now I'm saying, I'm expecting you to do the things that I'm asking you to do in January. I'm not expecting you to surpass the anxiety. Until about maybe 2 months, 3 months after I suggested something to you. Now, why would I say that? I say that because in my 2-year journey of self-development, there have been things that I've been hearing for the past 2 years that I have not gotten around to until like a year or two later. Not in a bad way. It's just that it takes time getting the gunk out. It takes time unlearning the headaches, unlearning the mechanics of business ownership, unlearning the difference between anxiety of doing the thing versus anxiety of the impact of the thing. That's a whole different speech right there. The anxiety of doing the thing versus the anxiety of the outcome of doing the thing. Meaning, we know how impactful it is to our business, but we're so nervous because we can't believe we have access to solutions prematurely. What do you mean if I do this right now, it'll change my business? And I thought the same thing, but then I start doing the things, you know what? This might just work. My back-end software is tied to Go High Level, and I was introduced to Go High Level 2 years ago. How do I know? I went through my emails, and life is so funny. Girl, I would have you to know, my exact words was, I ain't paying $100 a month for these folk. I need the free software. And I used the free software to kick off my little ebook. And what's happening now versus 2 years ago? Well, 2 years ago, I was leading with, hey, y'all, got me a new ebook on confidence. Whoopie-doo. Who cares? Versus now I was like, nah, I'm a confidence coach. I got an ebook. I'd love to sign you up for a newsletter, my Success Circle newsletter. And if you're interested, I would love to coach you. Or do you know anyone that needs coaching? And if I had that awareness 2 years ago, I would be unstoppable. And I can't feel bad that I just wasn't there. So in your heart of hearts, don't feel bad when you're not where you need to be. Because no one wants to be, how can I phrase this? Let's see. No one wants to be, I don't know, 20 years old when life said you get the business that you need or the clientele you deserve at 30, but then at 20 you get all the access to resources and you get burned out, and now at 30 it's like, I would never do this again. It's like, well, geez. Well, you the one that wanted it prematurely. You one that wanted it to experience it full on at 20. Like, you can't feel bad because you got burnt out without going through 10 years of understanding how to avoid burnout before you even know what burnout is. So anywho, without getting too lost in the sauce, I just want to encourage you to play all out and time travel to when you're making 30K. Or in your case, time travel to when inside your group coaching yoga swag, you're now losing sleep because you got to bring in instructors that don't mind servicing your clients because you now have to coach on a more intimate level. Millionaires, inside this group yoga session because, they're the rich aunties and suave uncles that haven't found that mate or haven't had children yet. And so, they don't mind paying you 30 grand and you don't mind taking their money. You know what I'm saying?
My girl Steph said, like, what is your price gonna be for in Bali? I'm like, so I'm thinking like, oh, well, you gotta get to travel here. I'm not. I'm like, I have to think about that too. And I'm like, when I got to that, I got overwhelmed real quickly because I was like trying to figure out what my cost would be. But
Yeah.
it's because I'm thinking of it now, not the future.
Yep. And I mean, now here's the thing: you all woman, and y'all need y'all numbers and things to make sense. Everything is planned out. Nothing is by surprise. I like being organized. I don't like surprises. I don't like rushing. I have to do this in this way because that works for me. I don't want to be overwhelmed. I will check out and just eat ice cream and go to sleep. So, with that being the case, the only way to circumvent, that's the right word, the only way to avoid the pitfalls is to override the anxiety. Now, how do we override the anxiety? We override the anxiety by thinking of things bigger than what we expect. Now, in your case, what I would do, what I found to be effective is going into chat or whatever AI software that you use and just laying it all out. Like in my book, 18 Ways to Lose Money with a Clothing Brand, itemize how it's not worth losing sleep over prices. Just have your price and walk it. Like right now, I'm at a crux in business because with my outerwear, I pretty much forfeited 12 years of streetwear, culture, brand, all the things, and now I've gone luxury with my outerwear jacket. And this is year one of me debuting it. And I ain't sold one, and I don't give a damn. Because I realized that this jacket it's my life's work. And it may not pop right now, which is cool because, hell, my price going up in January anyway. So if I make more money next year than I did this year at a whole new price, awesome. But if I didn't have that awareness long term, I would be devastated because my whole viewpoint would be I'm coming from 12 years of e-commerce t-shirt business and I'm not making any sales and I'm tripping. So again, I want to encourage you to go in chat and tell chat what you really want out of this thing. What do you really want out of this thing? And then work backwards and then say, okay, chat, this is what I want. What I'm cooking up for January is 17 people in my group coaching, max capacity 20 people, and I want to make X amount of dollars per month with these people. Now, I don't know I don't know how you want your money to come in. And none of my business. What I do know is the minimum is 30K. Okay. When you know though, that's gonna help you shape Bali. All right. The reason why I sleep good at night, when I finally go to sleep, is because I know for a fact with my trench coat, my goal is to sell 20 of them. Let me rephrase that. My goal trench coat is to literally sell 1,000 jackets for 1,000. That's it. One and done. If goal is to do that next year, as a matter of fact. So I've now realized when I meet people, I got to kind of work that in. What's going on, man? I'm a clothing designer. This year, I'm going to sell 1,000 of these trench coats by December and be a millionaire from this trench coat. It sounds like a lot to a new person I just met, but I don't care because I am super intentional. And one thing I've learned this year, the people that I've been watching on YouTube, subconsciously, life has put those same people in my vicinity. Life has put me in the proximity of those that I've been studying and watching on YouTube, whether I realize it or not. So if that's the case, if life can give me coattail that I don't need and vices I cannot afford because I want it, and a job to pay the bills that I need the money for, it can equally give me other desires of my heart if I'm super intentional and I know why I want what I want. So the shift is this. And again, I know I'm probably talking your ears off, but I mean, you pay for the mastermind. I mean, you get what you pay for. You feel me? And this is also why I want to be more intentional about, I have the Google Drive and I have the link to send you, but I got to go through my phone and save all these calls because at this point, to your point, I could very well leverage all these calls, which I'm going to do that. Oh, yeah, newsflash, without losing my point. I had a breakthrough moment. My breakthrough moment is my podcast coach told me about 4 months ago, tailor my podcast around how I want to monetize. And I want to monetize via my platform. So I need to make my podcast all about coaching. Now, what I was doing, okay, cool. I was trying to, holler out at pretty women and then, get them on my podcast. And that's cool and all, but that ain't making no money. And so for those that I come across and say, hey, listen, you are dope. But before I turn you on to my community, how valuable is your coaching? And so with this pivot, I can now say, man, listen, just binge watch or binge listen rather to my podcast because my coaching calls is my podcast. What a breath of fresh air. Okay, cool. Without losing, I was excited about the mastermind. I was excited about you and your breakthrough. Okay, cool. Boom. With you knowing your why and your rhyme and reason, you're gonna be so clear on everything that nothing really throws you off, and every hurdle is a hiccup, and every solution is a glass of water. If every hurdle is a hiccup and every solution is a glass of water, that means that the hiccups don't happen to mess your life up. The hiccups happen because drinking water too fast. Now, what does that mean? Right? Talking in code. Drinking water, figuratively, if drinking water is a solution and hiccups are a response to drinking water too fast, what that says is, again, not only do you have everything you need to win, but you have to now lead with rehearsing and reminding yourself of the solutions, reminding yourself of how you want to make money. So for me, that's what I was saying. So for me, okay, cool. 2025, I know trench coat, 1,000 for 1,000. I know with my coaching, I only want 20 people a year in my mastermind. I only want 20 people. No, I'll take it back. In my mastermind, I know that with my 90 minutes a month, my cap is 100 people. And then I know with my 10K for 6 months, my cap is 20 people. So my whole goal right now is itemize my customer journey. And then when they go through my 87-day email sequence, when they click the link, when they tap into all the other stuff that I'm doing, I'm never worried about getting burnt out because I've already set in stone what I want out of life. Meaning, I'm totally fine with hitting the quotas hitting the quota that I set out for myself. And so I'm not worried about how long it takes, to be honest with you. Because that's really not up to me. What's up to me is to become the person. So similar to what so boom. With that being said, when you ask yourself the honest questions about how much you want to make per year and per month and from each event, and you plug in the chat, I just want to make a whole bunch of money and I feel weird about it. Chat's gonna break down and itemize where you're qualified and how you can do these things and not be so worrisome. And then now that you're less worrisome about it, you can attack more aggressively, knowing that it's about the repetitions. I was listening to my homeboy Marquell Russell, who is, I guess, for lack of better words, my ads coach when I can make the money, because I just a lot of this stuff for free. Whatever anybody does for free, if it's free, it's for me. And I I love not being qualified to tap into their programs, because it comforts me in knowing I got to get better with my reps. So what he was saying was, we think that when we do a talk, when we do a webinar, when we do coaching sessions, as humans, we think we got to speak on something differently or come at something from a different angle. When in reality, the goal is to get better at communicating that primary message. So when you identify, let's say, 17, 1 and 7 and 8. Okay, 8, 4, boom, 2 weeks, 4, let's just say 3 months, keep it easy. Because I'm doing everything by quarter with my trench coat. Well, my campaign. My 8 to 7 day email sequence is by quarters. Okay, cool. Let's fall in love with a 90-day yoga coaching sequence session, whatever. All right. And then we're going to spend time getting good at that thing. Because getting good at that thing means that when January comes, those sign up folks is going to fall in love. And you're more confident because you're understanding the money has already been thought about. The work ethic is the only thing I got to work on. And you got a 77% open rate with your emails. And you have your wins baked in where you ain't got to force to sell. So I'm good at indirect sales with my clothing brand. Meaning I sell more clothes when it's not about my clothes. Now, in your case, you may find it's easier to promote and monetize the real money makers by throwing them an alley-oop inside the free program. That's your life. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But to have you prepared, you kind of got to dial in on your 90 days. So without being too exhausting, that's today's call. I'm probably going to upload this call first because I feel like this call is really speaking to your journey in the next 3 months. And I do want you to stay motivated. And I don't want the human side to sit in and say, this is a lot. Because it's not. This is what... Cool. So that's today's call. Yeah, we're going to chop it up in 7 days. But more importantly, I'm going to do my darndest to move this call to a Google Drive that's accessible for you. So you can start, like I said, going over these things on a daily and picking up gems that you may have overlooked today so far.
Yeah.
And you have everything you need to win. It's just about rehearsing it and becoming more confident through competence. Like 17, it might take 17 times of hearing me run my yap for it to resonate. And that's okay.
Right.
Because at that point, guess what? Here's what I love about knowing your price, knowing your worth, and knowing the money you want to make. Once it clicks and you have the audience and you're making the money, guess what? Drum roll. You don't get burned out.
Yeah. And that is the other part. I feel like knowing better, switch out also. I'm here for that kind of switch. It's very big for me. So if it's next one to do content, even if it's like, but the other thing was right now was the fact that like it makes more sense now when I'm literally working on a content business for the last 6 years. You know, we've been going for 6 years, and it's kind of like, oh, but y'all have no idea that these are things been going on in the back end, like my cohorts, my company, like all of the things, and that's when I'm like, running out my twin before has been like, you have no idea what has been working on behind the scenes. So you have me as assistant now, and other things are autopilot, so I can do exactly what I'm going to do now.
Yep. Lastly, your demographic, as I see, is gonna be rich aunties, suave uncles, introverts, and introverted couples. And I gotta stop talking now because that was a lot. And I'll say an hour and a half, and it's just like, bruh. So be well, take action, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay. Truly.